flag is supposed to bring people together, but in Mauritania, a change in design brought division instead. In 2017, red stripes were added to symbolise sacrifice, but many saw it as a political overreach. Some still fly the old flag, and somehow Jamaica gets dragged into all of this too. Welcome to this Mauritanian flags in 50 places. Here it is, the flag of Mauritania, a big gold crescent, a bold green background, and since 2017, 2 bright red stripes. But to understand why those red stripes appeared, we've got to rewind a bit. Before 1960, Mauritania wasn't flying green and gold at all. It was flying this, the tricolour. Yep, the French flag. From the late 19th century until independence, Mauritania was under French colonial rule. Bundled into what was called French West Africa, like my awkward cousin Alex in a family photograph, technically there, but clearly not part of my uncle and aunt's plan. What do you mean a little harsh? Mauritania was largely governed from St. Louis in Senegal rather than within its own borders. French influence was everywhere in education, law, language, and yes, even flags. But in 1960, Mauritania said au revoir to the tricolour and introduced something completely different. A deep green field with a golden crescent and star front and centre. Green for Islam, gold for the Sahara, and the crescent and star, well, classic Islamic symbols, but also a nod to their faith, unity, and the guiding principles of their newly independent nation. It wasn't just a flag, it was a statement saying we're here, we're independent, and we'd very much like our national identity back from France, merci. Fast forward a few decades, and the bold, clean flag stood out for its simplicity. Green, gold, and meaning. Very classic, if you ask me. But then, in 2017, the government said, you know what, this flag isn't actually finished yet, and decided that red stripes would make the world of difference. So, what do they mean? Officially, they represent sacrifices made for independence, which is a very diplomatic way of saying we bled for this country. But here's where it gets really interesting. This wasn't a slow, deliberate, public-friendly flag change. No. It was introduced under President Mohammed Ould Abdel Aziz, and it was controversial. No national referendum at first, no widespread consultation, just a bold, hey everyone, here's a new flag. That's it. Okay, let's talk about flag changes. Most countries don't do them lightly. It can be akin to getting a tattoo of your ex's name, bold, permanent, and guaranteed to cause complications with new partners. Trust me, I speak from experience. Won't be making that mistake again. Come to think of it, I'm sure that's what my uncle and aunt said when they found out that they were having Alex. Where was I? Countries changing flags, yes, like all of those countries who have adopted their British ensign designs, is a better example. So in 2017, the government proposed a change, adding 2 red stripes to represent the bloodshed in the fight for independence from the French. Now here's the bit that gets complicated. They eventually held a referendum, but it wasn't exactly smooth sailing. The referendum was held in August 2017 and bundled several constitutional changes into one vote, including abolishing the Senate, reorganising local councils, and changing the national flag. That's right, it wasn't just President Aziz asking, do you like my new red stripes? It was more like, would you like red stripes, no Senate, and maybe some constitutional changes? Opposition groups boycotted the vote entirely, calling it unconstitutional and undemocratic. Turnout was officially around 53%, with 85% voting yes, but critics question how representative that really was. So what we ended up with is a flag change that technically passed, but under some what we'd call dubious political conditions. It's like winning a race when half the runners stayed at home in protest. Many Mauritanians support the symbolism, but others see it as a legacy that moved by then President Aziz, a kind of I was here stamped on the national fabric. So here's the twist that really got me. In some rural parts of Mauritania, people still fly the old flag, not because they're clinging to the past, but because they say they were never really part of the decision to change it in the first place. To them, the red stripes don't represent sacrifice, they represent a decision made without their voice. Think about that, a national symbol, something meant to unite everyone, now divides opinion. It was supposed to honour sacrifice, but for some, it's just a scar of political overreach. And that raises the big question, can a flag still represent everyone if half the people never truly agreed to it? Now, I promised you a Jamaican flag connection, And oh, do I deliver. Before Mauritania added red, it was one of only 2 countries in the world with 0 red, white or blue on its national flag. The only other, of course, Jamaica. But then Mauritania went and destroyed the club by adding 2 red stripes, meaning Jamaica is now the only country in the world without red, white or blue. So if you're a Jamaican flag enthusiast, raise a glass to Mauritania, because they made your flag even more unique. Although just be conscious that Mauritania is a dry country, so maybe lay off the rum for the salute. Here I am looking at a flag that's meant to symbolise unity, but in some places it still divides. A flag is more than colour and cloth. It's meant to be a mirror showing a nation what it is, what its values and where it's going. But when that mirror is changed in a way that leaves many people feeling unheard, even if they were technically asked, something still cracks. The red stripes were added to remember those who had fallen, but what happens when that sacrifice isn't shared or even recognised by everyone? People are proud of the new flag, they're also proud of the old one, but the question that stuck with me is, can a flag truly represent a people if it was changed without them? It looks beautiful, carefully stitched, bold coloured, full of meaning, but meaning isn't always shared. Are we weaving unity or patching over a deeper divide? A flag shouldn't just represent a government, it belongs to the people. And if people feel disconnected from their very own flag, it's not just a design problem, it's an identity crisis. Mauritania changed its flag. Maybe it gained meaning, maybe it lost something. But one thing's clear, flags don't just fly in the sky, they fly in people's hearts. So, next time you see a flag, ask yourself, who chose it and who feels seen by it? In Mauritania, a flag change sparked division. In Cyprus, the division came first, and now the island's flying 4 different flags. It's a full-blown flag identity crisis, and if you're wondering what that means, click this video where I unravel the story of a unifying flag that doesn't quite do its job, and explain how all these Cypriot flags are weirdly tied to my birthday, and possibly the reason I was born on the wrong day. Join me there. Until then, bon voyage.